Nancy, I'm Eugene Arcand. I'm from the Musqueam Cree Nation. I'm a residential school survivor, having been taken in 1958 and didn't get back to my community until 1969. I'm an alumni of St. Michael's Indian Residential School and the Bred Indian Residential School. How did I get involved in sport? It was about survival. My involvement in sport prior to me going to residential school in 1958 was as a fan and maybe got out on the ice once or twice. When I got to St. Michael's, I observed that athletes were treated better. They were fed better, and they had more of a chance to get out of those places. It was then that I made a decision. I wanted to be treated special also. I had no knowledge of my skill level or my abilities at that point. It was a matter of animal instinct, survival skills. And in the end, along with my culture, my wife, sports saved my life.
No, kumagantik natam skate no ao, tapoy mo asin no apim to. Wab mayin gan na sigasun, oga kaptigo ostinia. My name is Michael Linklater. My given name is White Wolf, and I'm from Thunderchild First Nation, which is part of Treaty 6 territory. What drew me into sport was the fact that I was able to just be active and express myself through play. It was something that was fun. It was something that I was able to kind of find a community, as well as something that I was good at, and I really enjoyed it.
I've seen Michael grow up from a little young guy. Worked with his parents. His grandparents are mentors of mine, and watch him grow up and on the west side of the city. I seen him take control of his basketball skills and ability at Mount Royal High School. Unfortunately, his skills were not recognized that much in Saskatchewan. He ended up going to the U.S. for college, but luckily came home and led our own University of Saskatchewan Huskies to a national title. From then on, he paid back in the third phase of his life. He's paying back his community and working with the corporate community to make proper investments for our young people. And one of those investments is this basketball court you see behind us. It's heartwarming for me to drive by here on weekends and see no less than 100 young people practicing and having fun in that basketball court and not getting into other types of mischief and other things that can lead to worse things when you have nothing to do. This basketball court is certainly an incentive. It's first class, and it's very well taken care of by those same users. It's very nice to see.
Hoist the Hoops was kind of just a name we threw together because we wanted to hoist some hoops in the community, so we thought it was very fitting. Two friends of mine, Michael Donnar and Marcus Story, are two gentlemen who I reached out to who are also in the basketball community who are non-Indigenous. And I told them this vision that I've had since I was a child, to have this amazing basketball court in the center of Saskatoon where everybody could come and gather. And so as we started to venture down this road, this process, we realized we kind of needed a name so people could refer to the project that we were working on. And so Hoist the Hoops was kind of born out of the three of us starting to move this idea into reality. And Saskatoon, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, for years has been divided between west side and east side. So for me, it was really important that the court was on the west side because the community I grew up in is what needs to be served the most. And we were fortunate enough to be granted this location, and now you see it behind me.
The court's awesome. I mean, it's in a good spot, right by the river, close to the inner city, so youth that may not have access to a nice gym, they have this beautiful court here to come to.
Sports means a lot to me. I'm a strong supporter of sports. I'm a promoter of sports. It's very important to my community. Throughout my life, we as Indigenous athletes have had to play catch up. We have always had to blend into settler sports before we could be recognized within many of our own communities.
For reconciliation for me in sports is providing youth with equipment and opportunities to play in sports that they might not have access to or may have never even heard of. And just, youth that have been, or families have been affected by residential schools through that generational trauma.
So Canadian Tire Jumpstart Charities Foundation came on board to make this project, this vision come to reality. So my understanding and how that all unfolded is that Canadian Tire Jumpstart Charities, they have built a number of multi-sport courts across Canada. And my understanding is that Saskatoon was on their list. And they got word of what we were working on in creating a basketball-only court that serviced the community. And when they heard about what we were doing, as well as the fact that we wanted to make sure that we paid respect to the residential school survivors and honored them, they came to the table and said, we want to support, we don't want to take this on as our own, how can we help? And so I really commend them for taking that initiative, because throughout the whole process I was involved in terms of the design and making sure that proper protocols were followed, as well as seeking the proper guidance and permission to be able to utilize the National Survivors Flag to be able to honor our survivors. And so they were fully on board, and they came to the table and said, absolutely, let's make this happen. If I'm looking at me as my younger self and what this would mean to me as a youth that grew up in this neighborhood, it is something that is very inspiring. It is also something that brings a sense of community and belonging. And I say that because the kids who come down here, the parents, the community members that come here to utilize this space, feel a sense of belonging. And this is theirs. This is their court for them to take ownership over, to treat with respect and kindness, as well as all of those who come here to visit. So you create a community and you're able to learn from one another, because now you're seeing the community come together and you're able to learn from different cultures and belief systems simply through the game of basketball.
First, we give thanks to the Creator for bringing us all together today to assist us in remembering the children who never made it home, and the children who never got to see their parents and their grandparents again. It's an honor to do this video. And thank you for supporting Reconciliation Week 2024.